podcast viewers. We had some technical difficulties this week. We're sorry for what you're about to see every time Tyler speaks.
All right, yeah, let's all be stupid for a second.
That should be easy.
I'm not going to have to reach too far for that. That comes naturally to me.
And we're back!
We're back! Thank you to our sponsors, Napa Auto Parts.
Sponsor.
Yeah. When you need
We don't have sponsors.
carburetor filters, what's the company you said?
Napa Auto
Napa
Parts.
has you where you...
Napa's got
don't-
your back.
Napa's got your back.
I just made that up. I
In
don't
the
think that's
hood.
there.
Napa's got
Under the hood.
you
Under the
where
hood. Not like
you...
in the hood. They do serve the hood and the non-hood, but under the hood.
And we're back!
For all your trunk-related needs.
And we're back again.
We're
Napa
back.
has you back.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Napa.
Okay,
Well-
no more with the Napa.
Welcome to the 4th episode of the New Life Podcats. The 4th official episode. There is one unofficial episode that's lost to time. It's not actually lost. I have it for safekeeping.
Might be one of those things for our Patreon guests.
Our page, yes, for all of our our paid subscribers.
Our paid subscribers can
Yeah,
get that.
it's
on
just
the
for them.
site.
So, real quick, in case you guys are brand new or if you've forgotten who I am and who these people are, my name's Tyler. I'm the creative arts director. When I'm at New Life and when I'm not at New Life, I tell everybody I'm the media director because it's just easier to understand.
Yeah.
A lot less explanation has to go into that. Who are you guys?
I'm Meg Sayer. I am his wife.
Actually, she's my wife.
Right.
That's not my whole identity, though. But I am on the creative arts team here in New Life. I am also on the worship team. You just see me around doing things.
Doing them well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Ryan Sayer, and I'm the tech director. I plug things in
Yeah, you do.
and unplug things.
And make them work.
Yep.
As needed.
Yep. That's all I do.
I would say nobody plugs things in better than you do.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it now.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of practice.
yeah, if you've got 3-prong,
Whoa.
it kind of messes me up sometimes.
Oh, no.
Tyler's going to have his work cut out for him
Yeah,
with
sorry.
That's okay. I can't wait.
cutting this
Oh, I
one
did
up.
see yours. I really liked yours. Like, how did you took a picture of the sun, right?
I did not. I shared one.
I tried.
Oh, I thought you did that.
I wish I had done
Oh,
that.
I was like, man, that was really good.
It was so good.
I thought it. Oh, actually, I guess I should have known because it was all dark and we didn't have total eclipse.
Right. It was also Mount Katahdin, which is very
Close.
far away from.
Close.
Yeah.
4 hours
Yeah,
close.
yeah. Only 4 hours away.
It's 2 hours away from wherever you went to college.
No.
So we're south.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We're now figuring out where you went to
no.
college.
Oh,
So it's
no.
2 hours south.
Yeah, we don't need to solve this mystery. It's gonna reveal itself over time, I'm sure.
Can't wait.
No, I saw the eclipse from Sebago Lake, which was beautiful,
Yeah,
by
I
the
bet.
way. That's my favorite place in the world. I don't know if you guys or these people know that, but Sebago Lake,
of the Great
absolutely
Lakes.
number one. It is one of the Great Lakes, probably the
Of Maine.
It's
greatest.
the S in Holmes for the Great Lakes. S is Sebago. So it's Huron. Do you know Holmes acronym?
No,
Ontario?
I'm just figuring this out in
What?
real time. Can you
I'm
tell
sorry.
by my face?
I'm sorry. What?
I've never heard this
You
acronym
went to
Huron?
before.
school 2 hours south of here and don't know about the Great Lakes acronym?
I didn't study there.
Ontario.
Holmes,
Okay.
Ontario,
Yeah,
Michigan,
Michigan. Yeah,
Erie,
Erie. Yeah,
and Sebago.
and Sebago.
Yeah.
So Holmes is the acronym. Okay,
There's so many
interesting.
homeschoolers right now that are ripping their crayons
Yeah,
out
they
of their head.
Absolutely furious with us at this moment.
I'm not eating this paste again.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Eating paste is what got us into this mess in the first place.
That
I
is
think.
probably true.
It's me into this mess. in the
Were
first
you on
place.
Fry Island?
No, I wasn't on Fry Island. I was looking at it. I was on the southern point of Sebago Lake. There's a really nice scenic overlook there that's not that old. It's like 5 years old maybe that they built this scenic overlook. And it happened to be in between the 2 points where I was driving at that time. And I was like, perfect.
Oh, like you didn't go there. You were just
Nope.
out on a ride.
No, he was
Happened to be
working.
out driving. Yeah, I was
Oh, yeah,
working.
okay.
And it happened to be in the right location at the right time. And I looked ahead and thought, okay, maybe that'll be a good spot. Probably all of Standish will be there, but that's only like 45 people, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
right.
Sure enough, all 45 of them were
I
there.
knew it.
It was great. We had a nice little party watching the eclipse happen.
Nice.
God did an eclipse.
God did an eclipse. Yeah,
Not only did he do an eclipse, you guys, he did another earthquake.
I heard.
Yeah.
Can you believe
Heard.
that?
Yeah. What a week! It was like earthquake last week, eclipse this week.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's like right around Easter time,
Mm-hmm.
like when Jesus passed away. That's weird to say that when he died on the cross for us.
Yes.
That felt weird to be like he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I was reading, it's like there was darkness. So I wonder if there was like some sort of solar eclipse.
Whoa.
And there was an earthquake because those people came to life, like we talked
Right.
about. So it was just kind of weird, like all around, like.
What does it all
Jewish
mean? Could we call up Jerry B. Jenkins? Do you think he would be able to tell us?
I'd love to talk to that guy.
I got some questions for him.
I actually don't know who he
Yeah, I
is.
was gonna. I was
I don't
like,
know who he is.
I was like, I see the wheels turning right now. He's like, I'd love to talk to that guy.
it sounds
I
like
don't
a
know who that
superhero
guy
name.
is,
He
but
wrote the Left Behind series.
Oh,
okay.
Wait,
So, you know,
isn't it Tim Jenkins?
Jerry B.
Leroy
Jenkins,
Jenkins?
and Tim LaHaye.
LaHaye. Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Anyway, I bet he would have a theory
Oh, yeah, probably. He's
on the
"Let
New
me
Jersey
quote-
earthquake.
Let me quote from book 3, Nikolai, which actually I don't know if that's book 3 or not. I never read them.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I never read the adult ones. I did read the kids ones though. I read
I did not.
I read those more than I read the Bible. Probably not good.
I mean, you're studying Revelation. It's the only book where you're blessed.
I'm studying
It's
a
not really studying Revelation. though.
fictional futuristic account of what Revelation could look
So,
like.
yeah,
That's
it's
got to
like-
count for something.
Yeah, it's like the companion novel to Revelation. The Revelation, not Revelations.
companion
No.
novel.
Yeah.
Let's not
No,
give the Left
no,
Behind series too
no,
much
okay,
credit
no.
here. Anyway, okay. Well, yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys knew that an eclipse had happened, and it turns out you do.
I was here.
You were
We
here.
were here.
Yeah.
We originally went up to the Target parking lot, and then
Target always has better.
well, they were up.
Viewing for
it's
the
up on the
eclipse.
hill. It's up on the hill.
Yeah, of
so it's
course.
like the closest, with no trees and stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan was getting messages from I think
From Jenny.
Jenny.
And there's like these ridiculous pictures of like Judy Jones had a box over her head and she was doing like the solar thing.
'Cause
but it just
she
looked
made
like a blockhead.
yeah
And then
she made instead of she didn't have glasses, so she made some kind of box thing so there's, with the pinhole and then
all these people are wearing like these Ultimate Warrior masks where like
everyone this year did
like
this
a paper
thing
plate with
use
a
yeah
V?
where you cut out and it's supposed to protect more. I think because children are unpredictable
that's true.
and
Very true.
and
They will
I,
try to stare directly
well,
into
and
the
I,
sun.
I saw a thing today or yesterday where they were talking about like teachers not being able to take the kids outside wherever it was happening, like in Texas or something, where it was happening earlier because you can't say you have a teacher with like 20 kids.
Right.
How do you make sure all 20 kids are
Right.
not being dumb and taking their
Yeah.
glasses off? But so the big thing this year was making this mask that protected the rest of the face, and then they would like keep the whole thing on. So the glasses fit over, and the paper plate like protected the rest of your face.
I got
But
you. I got you.
yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that,
Yeah.
and I've been seeing it everywhere on social media.
I could see where it would come in handy because when I was riding passenger, I was not driving as the eclipse was beginning, but you can't tell that it's beginning unless you've got the special glasses on.
It's just bright out. So
Yeah.
you don't. I was looking around in the sky prior to it happening, like, where is the
Is
moon?
it going to happen?
No, I was thinking, like, where's the moon? So that, like, because you can usually see the moon when it's
Yes.
in the sky. Okay, so where's the moon going to be? And I could not find the moon. And then all of a sudden, I was at the school picking my daughter up, and kids are coming out. Lots of parents were there to pick their kids up early,
Yeah.
so they're all showing up early. And I'm just there at the time that they're letting them out, and all these kids are coming out, and they're like, "You can see it! It's already started!" And I'm like, "What? It's still so bright out."
Says who?
What? But it was really strange when it happened. I mean, the last time it happened for us this way was in like 91 or something. So
That's the year I started coming
I was
here.
like 10 years old and don't really remember this much, but it was weird seeing everything dim.
Yeah.
And I was wearing my regular glasses. Like I'd taken my sunglasses off because
Yeah.
it was getting darker. Wearing my regular glasses, knowing I'm wearing my regular glasses, but feeling like I'm wearing my sunglasses and seeing it at like 3, it's like 3, not even 3:30 yet, feeling like, okay, well, it's weird because it's the brightness outside of like 6:30,
Right.
but yet the sun is overhead still, where normally it would be like it's bright still, but the sun is like setting.
Yeah.
It was a really surreal feeling, but
I wasn't sure.
very cool to like experience it with our daughter this time around.
I wasn't sure like how much of that part of the experience we would get because we were gonna have like 98% or
go
whatever.
completely dark, and
Right.
and our daughter was asking about that. How dark is it going to get? And I was thinking it'll get pretty dark. It did not get very dark.
It's amazing how
here
very
it did not
little
get
of
very
the
dark.
sun was showing, but how bright it still was.
Yeah, but you could feel the difference even in like the temperature.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was much cooler, and then it warmed up again as it moved away from.
Perfect
the sun.
day
So
for it. It was 60 something degrees that day. Like you could actually notice the difference.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
I can actually still see it because I was a man and looked directly into the sun to find the moon.
You're so brave.
Yeah.
You are so brave.
I did it so you didn't have to.
I had one moment that kind of blew my mind, and this was one of the things that I had heard may happen for the people in the path of totality. And obviously, we were like as close as you can get to totality without being there. But we had a moment. We experienced a moment. The 45 people of Standish and me and the guy that I was with. It was about 30 seconds of eerie silence. And it helps that we were in Standish. We were away from the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
We were not right on 111.
I would say we did not notice that because there was still traffic going by.
We experienced it. And it was kind of like when you are outside and it's fresh snowfall and you're the only person out there and you kind of feel like you're just alone in the whole world.
It's one of my favorite feelings.
Oh, yeah. That's what it sounded like. It was just nothing. It was like a blanket had fallen over you or something. It was just 30 seconds and then it was over and traffic picked back up again. It was like somehow people stopped driving for 30 minutes. I don't know. It was so strange.
I mean, probably people were pulling over to see it. Like, oh, I know what time it's supposed to happen.
I'll tell you what, it was crazy how many people were not pulling over to see it. Like they were just like, it's not important. And I just kept thinking like, what could be more important than this moment?
We won't get
here?
another one for like 55 years. That's like this.
Is that accurate?
Here. Yeah.
Okay.
Here in
This way,
Maine.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Here in Maine to this totality.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I think I saw somebody talking about how if you don't have your glasses and you want to help, you can send them to South America because they'll have one maybe next year.
No, they're going to have
after.
one this August.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So for anyone who is listening, you can. There is some. It's not NASA, I don't think, but there's some website that you can go to get the address, so you can send as long as they are in good condition still, your glasses, and they will send them to South American kids because they are going to experience an eclipse this August.
So cool. We'll put the link. We'll put the link to that in the description.
It is funny how after the eclipse, I'm on Facebook and I just like look at dumb videos and stuff. But how many people have been commenting about see that the world didn't end and all this stuff? And I'm like, where? I know there's apparently conspiracy theories that like this was ushering in the end of the world or whatever. And it's like it wasn't ever going to. Like if you're talking biblical end of the world, it's not going to be one of those like something happens and in 3 minutes, like it's just the end. Right. Like we know there's going to be like the 7 years of tribulation and stuff like that. So it's not going to be an instantaneous thing. But it's funny seeing how many people were like debating over this end of the world scenario that should have happened and didn't happen, and therefore that concludes that God is not real. And I was just like, okay, I don't know where they're getting this idea that this eclipse. Why this eclipse?
Right.
There are eclipses.
We're lucky enough to be alive for it.
I know there are eclipses that happen all year long in different areas. And why would it be the one in North America? Like that would be the one that they're talking about.
Something tells me Texas has everything to do with this.
It was just like, these things happen. It's just for us here in Maine and for most of the country, I think, because of the angle at which it went across the country.
Right.
So
it started in Jonah, Texas.
We won't.
Left in Nineveh.
So it's probably
like, it's a sign.
So it's probably one of the ones that like the most of the country can see And that's why it's been such a, so hyped up right now. But for us in Maine or anyone in the, in that path, it's like, this is not going to come around. This one will not come around for another 55 years. So
crazy people.
I probably won't be here for that one.
I'll be here. What? You'll be here? You kidding me?
Yeah,
I would
morbid.
be.
That's morbid, Meg.
97 is how old I would be.
I'm going to 101.
Yeah.
So God did. He did an eclipse.
He did an eclipse,
and he did an earthquake too.
Yeah.
And that's what Ryan and I talked about the last time we did this podcast. We are on Sundays. We're in Daniel still. Pastor Justin has been taking us through Daniel, and what we talked about this last Sunday was not God doing an eclipse or an earthquake, but he was still saving some people.
Yeah.
Just like he did in the previous story. Yeah. So let's get into some Sunday takeaways.
I'm down.
Ba-na-na-na-na.
And we're back.
And we're going to talk about some Sunday takeaways.
Oh, yes.
Sunday takeaways.
Pastor Justin reminded us of an old classic this week. We're talking about Shadrach. We're talking about Meshach. And we're talking about Abednego.
Nice.
And their journey into the fiery furnace, baby, which that's an old favorite story in our house because of VeggieTales, of course. Because Shaq and Benny and King Nebi, right? Is that what they called him?
Well, that's what Justin was calling him.
the names that were in VeggieTales, and that's why Justin was saying
Yeah.
that?
He was saying, yeah.
That's what they're called.
He was just making fun of it.
No. That's what they're called in VeggieTales. They go Shaq and Benny for the kids. It's just easier.
Yeah, way
easier to remember.
And he was saying Nebi, right?
Yeah. I think he was, shortening that up. Nebuchadnezzar's
he said,
a mouthful.
5 different iterations of Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebster.
Nebuchadnezzar.
We should just call him Nebster.
Yeah, the old Nebster.
Yeah, Nebster.
The old Nebster. Good old Nebster.
So let's just catch the people up for those who are unfamiliar, or it's been a while, or maybe you missed the sermon or whatever. Nebuchadnezzar's like, I'm going to build a giant idol. It's going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be made of gold. It's going to look like me, and you're all going to bow down to it. What was it? Once a day?
Yeah, I think so. It might have been multiple times a day.
Yeah.
For sure, once a day.
There was a special time where everybody was going to have to come together and bow down to this idol. And if you don't, you will be thrown into a fiery furnace. And so our boys, Daniel's friends, Shaq and Benny, they all remained standing. They refused to bow down. And sure enough, Nebuchadnezzar was like, hey, I'm a man of my word, throwing you into the fiery furnace.
But it wasn't even just that. He was like,
crank that thing up. Yeah. Mad.
He was like offended that they would not.
Couldn't believe it.
So it wasn't just like, well, yeah, I said I was going to do this. It was
Nebuchadnezzar had some insecurities.
I want it 7 times hotter.
Yeah.
He
flipped his lid is what he did.
He did.
Yeah, he lost it. He blew his top. You know, he went absolutely crazy.
It's his fault. He's the one that chose them. He went and stole them from Israel. Then they were like friends, like, oh, okay. They kept giving them grace.
And
there's a nice takeaway right
and
there.
The funny part too, which I have to say, we talked about, or Justin talked about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego a few weeks ago, I feel like, or somewhat recently.
He's been in Daniel.
And
thanks for joining the conversation.
Well, no, but I mean, he did talk about them before. But interestingly enough, when you look through, particularly the scripture I think that he was in this week, you see their names like so many times.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone knows them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Right.
So like, in my mind, I actually had never gone back before that to find out that
how did these guys
those
get
were
here?
not their names.
Right.
Well,
but it's interesting. Was it Hananiah, Azariah, and
Mishael,
I think.
That sounds right.
Something like that.
And what's funny is also
Jerry B. Jenkins, can you weigh in on this?
Daniel was just Daniel, but so when they brought them over, those were their Jewish names or Hebrew names, but then they brought them over, they gave them Babylonian names.
Yeah.
And Belteshazzar is Daniel, right. And they don't. Well, they talk about it later, but they just automatically go Daniel,
right?
Belteshazzar, and I'm like, wait, what?
But it's interesting that like all throughout this scripture that we were in this week, and I feel like how most people know them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes,
they don't, and I think that was great about the teaching a few weeks ago. Is like that those were names that were given to them, and essentially to be like, I give no credence to what you believe because their names mean something, like in Hebrew. And I'm going to give you names from my God that, and they're not just names of like my type of people, but like actual names that speak to you being of this God,
Right.
kind of as a slight against them. But I just find that interesting that like the scripture says so many times Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and it's like, I'm just curious
We
as
stuck to it.
why did we keep
Yeah.
calling them that? Why did we not go back and use their original names
Yeah.
and say who Nebuchadnezzar called these names? But yeah,
I
just
suppose
interesting.
I suppose it is possible that some of the stories in Daniel that Daniel may not be chronological start to finish. I could be way off base
have
here.
no
I
idea.
honestly don't know. So again, Jerry B. Jenkins, Tim LaHaye, weigh in, please.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, the thing that really stuck out to me, and this is so silly because it's so painfully obvious, and yet here it's still blowing my mind. Like 5 days later, was the idea that these guys were not taken by surprise that they were going to get thrown into the fiery furnace. That was not like that was known. They built this idol and they told everybody, you're going to bow down to it or we throw you in the furnace. And I, for whatever reason, have always just in my head had the visual that they were, scooped up by the guards and they went kicking and screaming and they threw them in and they thought they were going to die. But that is absolutely not what happened. They knew what the consequences of their actions were going to be, and they did it anyway.
Right.
They stood up for this thing that they believed was right.
Their faith made more, like Justin was saying, like everyone else was just like, okay, yeah,
Right.
I don't want to be thrown into the fiery furnace.
Right.
I will bow down to this idol. And they're just like, no, my faith means more to me than my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's...
I hope that the rest of us can all say that.
I know. It kind of takes me back to like, so we are all of an age where we were in school for that very first, the Columbine shooting, right? And then do you remember what became super famous after that? She Said Yes. Do you remember She Said Yes? Did that happen for you guys or
I don't even know
no?
what this is.
What?
No? Oh, okay. So She
I'm
Said
not
Yes.
sure I know what you
It's a
are.
book. It's a book that
Oh.
came out about one of the girls who was killed in the Columbine shooting.
Oh, no. I think of another thing. Okay.
And the story is that the boys were asking the kids, like, are you a Christian? And this girl said yes, knowing that was
I
probably
do
gonna be
remember
the
there
wrong
being a
answer for
girl
her.
that, yeah.
That was used
Stood up
in
for her
my
faith.
in my youth group days, in my teen years or whatever. That was used as like the ultimate, standing up for what you believe in, like
Right. In the face of
certain death.
death.
Yeah, certain death. Which as
Which
a
I hope that-
teenager,
I hope our children never have to go through. I
Right.
hope that we never have to go through.
they almost certainly
But-
won't.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, where we live,
Let's hope
we live in Biddeford, Maine.
and pray.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little chance that would ever happen.
Yeah, but I think that they felt like, I'm sure none of them thought that they had
True.
any chance to
True.
that either. But yeah, hopefully. But I do know that not to get dark, but like in the face of in the face of like martyrdom or even just persecution, right? Like we should count ourselves blessed if we are persecuted for Jesus's name.
Yeah.
Like there's a special, I think, blessing over anyone who is facing that situation and does stand up for their faith, because
Yeah.
that's what God's looking for. He's looking for, people who are going to say, my faith is more important than my life.
I added it to the things that that I should be afraid of. Like martyrdom went on my list of like, I thought for sure I would encounter way more quicksand. I thought for sure I'd have to stop, drop, and roll at some point in my life.
I think we all did.
They really burned that one into my brain.
Oh,
Oh.
good pun.
Pun
bro.
on purpose.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good one, but that's okay.
No, it was good.
Yeah, so martyrdom, that went on my list as a
Yeah.
teenager. Things to be afraid of that I might not ever have to encounter.
Yeah. I was always just afraid of family gatherings because they would all just start talking about the end of the world.
They still do.
They still do.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is casual conversation in, in the Sayer household.
Oh, yeah. Like my grandparents, it was always like we go over to their house and it was like, oh, yeah, like Reagan's doing this and blah, blah, blah. Not Reagan. I was way too young for that.
You were way
But
too young.
it was
for
the
that.
80s, though, for sure. And it was always like, oh, yeah, well, Pastor John Hagee was talking about, Armageddon and the sea. There's going to be this huge field, and I forgot the name of it, which I usually know this. And the blood's going to go up to the horse's bridle. That's like 6 feet. There's 6 feet of blood. There's going to be so much terror and everything and blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
It
just
is-
as a kid being like, I'm
Yeah.
going to go play with my Legos.
Yeah, no, and me getting coming into your family as a 17-year-old getting saved, and all of it was like, I feel like almost every gathering, the whole family at some point was talking about end times and what we're gonna see, and I was just like, oh my god,
Did you warn her?
oh my gosh,
Yeah. No. First,
no.
No,
No.
I didn't. Sorry.
But to the point where it still happens sometimes, and I'm like, listen, I know that those times are coming at some point,
Yeah.
but we also have been saying this for 2,000 years.
Sure. Yeah.
And, and everyone thought that the world was going to end in 2000 with the Y2K. And
That's true.
Some
also,
people
I mean,
still
like
think it
Jesus
did.
says,
2012. Remember the 2012 one?
Yep.
That one was
I shaved my head just in case.
smart.
I had dreads. I was like,
Did you put on clean underwear?
no, never.
Always be having
no, but it
clean
was like,
underwear on, my dude.
it was always freaking me out, right? Because I had a small child and somewhere in I believe Revelation, it talks about woe to it's something like the nursing mothers or something like that, like mothers of small children in those times. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, my child is so young. And but it still happens all the time with family gatherings.
Yeah, Meg, the first time Meg came down was for Thanksgiving. She sat down. She's like, "Oh, can you pass the potatoes?" And my grandmother's like, "Are you post-trib, pre-trib, or mid-trib?"
What?
Yeah,
It was not
and then
like
Meg
that.
was like mid-trib, and she didn't get potatoes.
It was not. No,
That didn't
he is
happen.
totally making that up.
You can have
Totally making that.
And
but
what
there,
is
but
your
there have.
grandmother's favorite Left Behind book? That's
She
what I
died,
wanna
so
know.
thanks for bringing that up.
Okay. I'm
I
so
mean,
sorry
technically,
about
you're
that.
the
We're
one
gonna
that
take a
brought her
break.
up.
No, yeah, I don't think she ever read them actually.
Oh, well,
Yeah, no,
she missed
wasn't-
out.
She was
No,
a
but
Christian, not that good.
there were a lot of conversations about our, post trib, pre trib, mid trib. I did that out of order, but whatever. That happened a lot, and
It was always about the rapture. Oh man, I'm gonna get so much hate. But the Bible never actually talks about a rapture.
Right.
That's just Christianese. People bring that up.
Yep.
So man, I can feel the hate
No, I'm
pouring in right now.
I mean,
No,
there are
it's-
there are references to it. I think
Nope,
that
not
I think
to
that
the
I think
rapture. It was
that
just
the
the coming of
word
Christ
the
and-
word rapture is not specifically the word, but it's kind of we talk about this all the time, like Christianese. We talk about that with family all the time, like certain sayings that Christians say all the time, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, if you really stop and think about that, and where is that? You might you believe this because of this scripture, but that's not what it says, though.
Yeah.
Why do we say that? Because
Yeah.
that's not actually biblical.
context.
Yeah, it a lot of it has to do with context. And it's well, that's that saying, that phrase has kind of been taken out of context
Yeah.
from what the Bible says. So it's really interesting. We have conversations about that all the time.
Yeah. Well, I was not planning on getting into Revelation during this podcast, but that's okay. That's okay. The conversation goes.
You
where
never
it
know
goes.
where it's gonna go.
I'll tell you what, man. My life motto is it's fine. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm
you really-
secure in that.
Yeah, you can't be so scared. Like the Bible is scary. To me, heaven and then eternity in heaven is scary to me.
Sure.
Even though that's where I want to go. But then it's like
Life can be
man,
scary.
I have flesh, and so I'm like, oh, I die and everything's different. That kind of scares me.
Yeah.
I want to go to heaven, but sometimes I'm just like, it's gonna be so different. Am I gonna like it? Because I don't really like change.
Yeah.
But I can adapt well. But
Yeah.
just even going to heaven is scary to me because it's like, oh yeah, we die and then
Totally.
we do this and do that, and it's
But
like
going to hell is a lot
oh,
scarier
yeah, going to
for
hell would
me.
be a lot scarier.
So,
Yeah. So get saved.
Next week we'll talk about whether or not hell is real.
Ooh, yes, Sheol.
Here we go.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we did it for Sunday takeaways. I feel pretty good about
Yeah.
that. And you know what that means. That means we're going to thank each other.
Thank each
our
other.
past. We're going to thank our parents.
Thanks.
We're going to
Mom and
thank
Dad.
our lived experience for the memories. It's time for Thanks for the Memories.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. That's the part. Yeah.
I've been actually learning how to play that on guitar, so that way next time I sound check on guitar, I'll play it, and you can be up in the booth and be like,
that will be an Easter egg just for me.
Yeah, it's
and
just for
I
you.
will love it so much. Oh man. Okay, so for no reason at all, I was thinking about famous mishaps on stage. When you say something
Famous?
or you do something, well, famous in your own mind anyway.
Okay. Sure.
When you have been on stage. Now, the three of us have spent plenty of time on stage, behind microphones, behind instruments, whatever, leading a group of people in worship, in prayer, whatever. And I know for sure I've got a couple of times where I stuck my foot firmly in my mouth. And
Me too.
usually I don't know it until later.
I know it
pick up on it
immediately
right
while
away.
I'm doing it.
Did you have one that you knew like as it was happening and you couldn't stop it?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. Tell him, Meg.
I still
Yeah,
get
and if
like
you don't tell us,
tell 'em.
Ryan
I still
will.
get the sweats from this one.
Really?
That was an Easter egg. Tell
We-
him, Meg.
Shut up. I don't remember how long ago this was.
It was 6
Couple
months
years ago.
and 3 weeks ago.
It was not. I'm on the worship team, and I'm leading a song called "Not Enough." And
Not
great,
enough.
yeah, not enough unless you come, yeah. So,
Actually, I think it's called Here Again.
Will
oh
you
yes,
meet
it's called
me
"Here Again,"
Ooh, I
and
can't
"Not
wait.
Enough" is
Sorry,
what
Stephen
we say.
Furtick.
Yes,
Hashtag oops.
sorry, my bad. Will you meet me here again? Yes, so here again, and but the first line of like that chorus is "I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again?" And I was trying to give a vocal cue, and my brain got so confused because in my brain I had like two sentences warring with one another about what was going to come out.
I cannot
like,
wait.
Like, tell him that you're not enough, and like tell him that he's enough.
Oh no.
And so I said,
Oh no.
tell him he's not enough. And I was like, immediately,
Tell God that
Yeah.
he's not
I know.
enough.
You're not
And
enough, God.
immediately when the words left my mouth, I was like,
more.
oh,
I need more.
crap. Because I had in my brain, I was thinking those two sentences and they just like clashed and came
Yeah.
out, and I couldn't put them back in.
Yeah.
And I just had to keep going because I'm leading this song. I can't like run away in shame. So
Yeah.
I did not mean to say tell him that
Well, of
he's
course
not
not.
enough. There was no graceful way to get back from that. So I just kept going. I just, and that's hard too, because when I don't know about anybody else, it's like if you're leading a song or whatever, you then get so in your head when you've screwed something up,
Oh,
and then you're
yeah.
just like thinking about it the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And so now every time that song comes up, I'm like, I get so nervous if I
Can
like.
somebody else lead this
Yeah,
one,
I know.
please?
Seriously, like I love that song, but now I'm like so nervous.
But what's great is most of the time the congregation doesn't know that, especially with
Hopefully,
you. You never
but-
shake your head.
but-
you never are disappointed with yourself on stage.
I
Nobody
know.
can ever tell that you've done something wrong.
Meg definitely doesn't wear her thoughts right on her face. No,
Your
no,
poker
no.
I
face
do.
is
I know.
opacity
Generally,
1%.
listen. Generally, if you see me go,
It's not
it's
because
probably,
of anybody
it's
else.
probably,
Right.
yeah, it's probably because I've just done something.
Yeah.
Most likely on the keys. And hopefully nobody else notices it. But I'd be like, nope, that wasn't right. That's not what I was supposed to play. But yes, I do that all the time.
That's the
But
musical.
I did have another worship leader
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
say to me, like, or another person on our worship team be like, did you just say, like, they texted me after, like,
Yeah.
did I hear you say? And I'm like, why did you have to hear that? Oh my gosh, yes,
I do
yes,
love that.
that's what I
friends,
said.
When you mess
My
up,
friends will
will
call
be
me
like,
out.
hey, this happened. It's like, yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
it becomes a meme. So,
Right.
like, actually, we make tons of memes here at church because
true.
somebody's always doing something dumb by accident.
Once a week, you can count
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And usually somebody will make a meme and pass it around the staff.
I mean,
Somebody.
yes.
Who's somebody, Ryan?
It's me. It's
No,
me.
but I've
It's
made
me.
memes too. I made
yeah, that's
I made
true.
a meme of Trevor
Oh yeah.
with
with
his
his
long
hair?
hair because
Oh,
there was
gosh.
one week where he was preaching. he like flipped this side
did.
and then he flipped this side
did.
too, and I was like,
They were gorgeous
it's
locks.
gotta be,
really-
it's gotta
yeah.
be a meme.
Yeah. I was thinking that's sort of, that flub there reminds me of like saying "you too" to the kid behind like the candy stand at the movie theater
Yeah,
when he
dude.
says "enjoy the movie" and you go "you too."
Yeah, you do. Happy birthday. Yeah,
Right
you
away.
too.
Yeah, I did it
No.
today. I did it today at the drive-through. I anticipated a have a good one or something, and they hit me with "enjoy" for my food, and I said "you too." Just peeled out
Yeah,
as
dude.
hard as I could.
I have said it when someone has
3-year-old
said
lady.
happy birthday. Like when someone says happy birthday and then you go, you know, that they're like, happy birthday. Yeah,
yeah,
you
happy
too.
birthday. Wait, to me. Oh, wait.
Not to you. Why am I saying this?
I
You're
used-
like just naturally trying to be cordial. I don't know.
I used to work at a movie theater.
Oh, yeah?
My first job was Hoyt Cinema,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I was the Jimmy Fun guy. But I would also like do tickets, and it literally happened. Like it was like 1 in 4.
Oh, yeah,
For sure.
that
I'd be
makes
like,
sense.
Hey, enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
You too. And I'm like, it's rated R. I'm 16. I can't go see it.
I couldn't enjoy this if I wanted
yeah.
to. Ryan, you've been perfect on stage for your entire career, have you
Pretty
not?
much, yeah.
Yeah, zero mess ups.
I've had 0 mess up.
I
had
think
one
that
mess up.
I think the mess up he was thinking about when you asked us about it initially though was the one that I just told.
Oh yeah.
Like
I have one
you
too.
have to have one of yourself. Like
Oh yeah. Actually, it was like, well, this isn't my story, but 3 weeks ago we did some new song, and I remember after first service it went okay, and then second service, Tom Wright, one of the bass players, was like, I feel like it was a little like low. We should try to pep it up. And I was like, yeah, I got you, bro. And I literally played the worst. I dropped my stick 3 times during the one song. It was the worst thing in my entire
didn't
life.
notice.
But oh, that's good.
I didn't notice.
Well, I think you were gone that week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was kidding.
That's probably it.
Wait, am I going next?
Yeah, of course. You're
Oh,
next.
okay.
Let's hear it.
All right, you guys.
Now, wait,
what,
hold
what
on.
have you
Before
got?
you-
I'd love to hear this.
Before you tell this, Meg, you can tell me how close I am with this. But in the 2 years that I've known Ryan, what I've gathered is that Ryan embarrasses himself with some regularity, as much as any other person.
Oh yeah.
But what Ryan lacks is that shame bone
Usually,
that
yes.
most people have, where like if you embarrass yourself, you now want to crawl into a hole.
Yeah, it would have to be
Ryan
like
kinda just-
really bad for him to
Yeah.
feel that way.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I'm
doesn't-
very self-deprecating. I love
Yeah.
making fun of myself.
yeah.
And other people.
I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of. I mean, you're probably born with it or you're not. I would assume.
I was not born with that.
No, me either. Me either.
I mean, I can get embarrassed. I've been embarrassed a couple
I
times.
would
Actually, a
love
couple
to
weeks
know
ago.
what it would take.
I can tell you after. It happened like less than a month ago with one of our friends' kids.
Okay.
So am I going?
It's
Yeah,
not a
you're up.
podcast
Okay.
Yeah. Material.
material.
Okay.
No.
This is my time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
A moment of silence for Ryan's story.
I'm trying to. I gotta do it over again.
You got to get into the headspace.
Bright lights, big city. I had those dreams, but not anymore. Just kidding. I used to be in drama
That
class.
was a
here at
monologue.
church.
That was a monologue
Yes,
from
monologue.
drama.
It's nice.
But yeah, my mom used to do. Before video cameras were super easily accessible, church used to do like tons of like skits
Mm-hmm.
to add to the sermon, or just because we were like, hey, this might be a good thing.
Youth
for people to
group, we did
see.
them
Yeah,
all-
youth group all the
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
It just made it so we didn't have to listen to boring people talk all the time.
Yeah.
Because back then preachers weren't good. They are now. Like Pastor Justin, he's awesome, right?
He's very good.
I just want to. I just want to raise. No, so we did this skit one time, and my mom would write a lot of these things, but this was a skit we saw at this old group called Acquire the Fire, and it was called Get to Know Me, and I had the lead, I guess, if you would, in that one skit, which was only like a 3-minute skit or whatever. And so there's a bunch of us and we're doing things, and it almost came into this thing where you're supposed to hype everybody up. And you're like, get to know me, ha, get to know me, ho. And people kept doing that, but I forgot what my lines were. On stage.
It wasn't just
during
get
the
to
youth
know me,
group.
ha. It was like you had actual lines.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. But it was like a hype point,
yeah.
and we're supposed to do it. But then I got to the point where I was supposed to say my lines, and I couldn't remember what
To
the
this
lines
day,
were.
I still don't even know what
And
the
I
lines were
literally,
supposed to be.
for maybe, I don't know, a minute, which doesn't sound like a long time, but I was like, get to know me. Get to know me.
Get to know me. Get to know me.
I did all the get to know me's and all the voices that I had.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we ended the skit. Nobody got saved for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I was banned from whatever
You were not.
for youth group now.
Hey,
But
man,
yeah,
God,
that was like one
God
of the,
can use anything, all right?
Yes, I don't
Even
know.
that.
Yeah, that was the
I
worst.
don't think he did, but he
No,
could.
he didn't. He definitely didn't. I definitely lost some points there.
I would
that's
have,
for sure.
I mean, because I knew what was supposed to be in the skit at the time, but I feel like it would have.
Oh, I was playing Jesus too. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it was. I was
So,
Jesus.
but-
Yeah.
So my representation of Jesus was like super terrible. It was
But
like, oh.
but it would have been interesting to know from the perspective of someone who didn't know what was supposed to be happening.
Oh, I can tell you what it was. I got to get to know this guy.
Oh.
He's bringing
But it was
home.
like
How do I know this
the
guy?
only point that ended up coming out was get to know me, get to know me, get to know me,
Right.
get to know me, get to know
That's
me.
not even a joke. That's literally how it was. Like, imagine
He
a
was
minute
like,
of that.
I don't know what the word is. So
Everyone's
well,
sitting
get
there
to know
going,
me.
Is he okay? What's happening with
Yeah,
this guy right
I
now?
think that people were probably like, I don't know where this is going.
I don't get it.
But
Yeah. My
yeah.
mom grounded me for like a week after that.
For forgetting your lines.
Get to know me, get to know
that's
me.
tough.
Get to know my lines is what I need to
Yeah,
do.
I think that's
know
what it
my
was.
lines.
Like, hey, how about you get to know your lines? Now
Yeah.
get in the car.
Yeah. You're going to get to know your room really well this week.
Yeah, get to know yeah. Back when parents could hit their kids.
Tyler, what about you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Tyler,
I have so many to choose from.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
absolutely absurd. Okay, here's let me give you the earliest one that I can remember. The earliest one as a teenage boy when I was growing into my voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Sorry.
I would, from time to time, I would get a vocal solo as the special music or whatever it was on a Sunday morning or a Sunday evening or whatever. And I had a vocal solo at the Christmas Eve service. And the solo that I was going to sing was the song Mary Did You Know?
Yeah.
Don't know if you've ever heard of
Oh,
it before.
yeah.
Kind of a banger.
Kathy Mattea. Oh my
Your
gosh. Bill
baby
Clinton.
boy.
Saxophone. Yeah.
Yeah, see, you get it. Now, this was Mark Lowry, of course.
Oh, yep. That's
I
right.
believe Mark Lowry wrote that
Oh,
song,
I think you're right. Yeah.
which is crazy.
Kathy Mattea performed it for. Never mind.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so somehow I ended up with the responsibility to sing this solo. The song is called Mary Did You Know?
Mm-hmm.
The first line of the song is Mary, did you know?
Yeah, but okay.
I did forget those words.
So you,
Introduction comes in. I am young enough that like I am not counting. I'm just panicking. I'm
Yep.
just screaming in my head.
Yep.
And also, it should be noted that for whatever reason, the microphone was set up in the center aisle, not up on the platform, not like in a place that made any sense. I was like actually 2 rows deep in the center aisle because of the way like the room was set up for Christmas Eve. So I'm amongst the people.
yeah.
And immediately to my right is a beautiful girl from my high school who did not go to that church, but she was there for Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And that was very intimidating to 15-year-old me, 16-year-old me, or whatever. So the introduction comes in. It's that like really somber piano. And then I'm like kind of glancing at my mom who's like trying to tell me like, it's coming. Here comes your line. Make sure you're ready. And it just flew right on by. So the music just keeps playing. But of course, there's no words.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, just deer in the headlights. I'm dead inside. And I know that I've missed it, but I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
So the first line goes, Mary, did you know that your baby boy, blah, 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 blah.
Someday
Right.
walk on water.
I figured out where I was right after the word no. So I came in with, that's your baby boy. That was the first
That was
thing
the
that
beginning of
Yep.
the song.
Yep.
Like,
So
oh,
anyone who had
my mic must have been
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So weird. I don't know
anyone
what
who's
happened.
never heard the song before is like, that you know that your baby.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That you know what? What?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Context.
Yeah. And I'm not leading the congregation in this song. It's just me. It's just me singing
bro,
this
solo.
thing. Oof. So that ruined my life for a little bit of time. I let it ruin my life for a little bit of time.
But did you get that girl's number?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Sometimes it doesn't matter because you're just saying, hey, this is what I'm saying. And you mess up. But
Right.
it's just nice to be like, hey, we're not all perfect. We're just normal, relatable people.
Right.
Like, I would never be able to relate to a pastor that's perfect all the time. Like, it's like, I know that people are always like, oh, yeah, I'm doing great. Then nothing bad happens in my life. I don't trust those people.
Yeah.
I want bad things to happen to you so I can see what you do to move forward.
I
Sure.
don't want bad
You know?
things to happen
Like,
to you.
That's what's the most important part is like seeing like the outcome of where something terrible could happen and like how you use Jesus and the scriptures to overcome it because it's encouraging to everybody and it makes everybody relatable.
Yeah.
Like I don't look at Pastor Justin, like I only call Pastor Justin at church, but he puts his pants on the exact same way that I do. At church, I
We don't
give
know
him
that. We don't. I haven't seen the
That's true.
evidence. We don't know.
He might put them
He
on
might
backwards.
do 2 legs at the same exact time.
Sometimes I
jumps
actually
right into them.
Yeah, he could actually put his pants inside out and then put the bottoms on first and then pull all the way up. I do that with my baseball stuff sometimes.
What?
It's like putting on your baseball pants with socks.
Yeah.
You do the reverse. Anyway.
Okay.
So
No, I know what you mean though, because like, first of all, when you see, I like when I hear Justin, he's preaching and I feel like it was a couple weeks ago, he like made a noise or something and like, and everyone laughs and he's just like, I didn't plan that. Like,
Oh yeah. He'll do voices sometimes.
Yeah. And it's just like,
he's like, why am I speaking like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
right. But it's like, it does make it more relatable and it does make it feel like it's less of a, like, I've rehearsed the heck out of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is just me and real and in the moment
Yeah.
and like being me outside of like the scripted thing that's here.
Yeah.
So
That will reach
I
more
appreciate
people.
that.
Like
Yeah.
authenticity will reach
Oh, yeah.
people more
Super,
often. And
yeah.
that's what I like. Anyway.
No, that makes sense. I want a pastor, and we have one, but I want a pastor who's not afraid to share like stories like these ones right here of embarrassment stories where like they screwed up, and so the lesson was if the pastor is just preaching and saying you need to be better, I've got it figured out, but you need to be better. I'm not lasting at that church. No way. All right. Well, I think we pretty much did it. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, whatever you're listening and watching on, make sure that you're subscribed or following or whatever it is that you need to do. There's so many different platforms, but whatever it is you need to do to make sure that you know when these podcasts come out, do that thing. All right.
And share with people that you think might enjoy our crazy antics and weird conversations. Because I mean, like, I think we'd love for people to hear our message and to get it out there a little bit more and make it more accessible to the masses.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
If you ever want to learn a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes with the creative arts team at a church, this is the place where you'll get all that information and content, which we know is king.
Obviously.
Well,
Jesus is king.
That's the one it is. Yeah, Jesus.
yeah, okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well, we're going to high five?
Yeah, we should totally high five.
Let's high five. Here we go.
Last week was weird because Meg wasn't here.
Yeah.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, awesome.
It was the worst one ever.
Took my hand right out.
Almost broke Meg's fingers.